Good evening, everybody. It's Friday. Oh, no, it's not Friday. That's a good start. Wrong day. It's Wednesday, which means it's Wednesday Night Live. I've come on a little bit early just because I want to do the sherry thing. I'd rather not be doing that when share to newsfeed. Share. Awesome. Hi everyone, good evening. Hope you've had a dry day wherever you are. We haven't. Just yet another wet day, but it's all fine. It's watering the plants. Hi Amanda, how are you? Not seen you for a bit. Hope you're well, my love. Oh my God, very excited about talking about my subject tonight. I have got on my soapbox about this all day, preparing for it. Getting revved up. Hey Claire, how are you? Thank you for joining. Hey Chris, thank you for the recommendation, my darling. First of all, before I get into it, I just want to promote the book I'm involved in. And it's been so lovely to get so many well wishes from everybody. A few people assuming that it's my book. It's not yet. I was really, hey Amphi, I was really honoured to be asked to write a chapter in it. And it's just my story about a lot to do. Hey Sarah, hey David. It's just my story really. But mine is one of 30 stories in the book, and it's just, some of the stories are powerful. People that have been to some really difficult things happen. And still find their way out of it. So it's a very inspiring book. Thank you, Amanda. It's very exciting, actually. It's called Bollocks to That I Choose to Shine. And the bollocks is actually an acronym, which I don't know off the top of my head yet, so you'll have to get the book to read it. It's available on Amazon. The paperback is available today. This book is going to change lots of people's lives. The impact already on people reading it has been profound. And all the money from the book goes to fund other people who need this work but maybe won't be able to afford to invest in themselves in that way. So whether that be a women's refuge, or because it's particularly incredible for people who've been through trauma. It's called DNA Light Up. It is a 3-stage coaching process. I have been through it myself, and it's just bliss. And it's so simple, but it's so profound. So I highly recommend you look into it. And I'm very proud to be in the book, and it has definitely wet my whistle for doing a bit of writing. So exciting! I'll put the link to the book in the comments to this, so you can buy it and maybe buy it as a gift for somebody else, because it really is incredibly life-changing. There's loads of different people, men and women, from all different walks of life, all different experiences, and all of them have such an incredible energy behind them. So it's amazing. Right. So tonight we are talking about fine and why it's okay for enough to not be enough. And this was inspired by a conversation with a client this week. And she was reading a book called Daring Greatly by Brené Brown, that I'd recommended to her. Another great book. And she just mentioned, she said, it's this, I'm starting to realize that it's okay, for enough not to be enough. And I was like, this is such an important subject. So why are so many people fine? Why is fine become an acceptable state to be in for most people? And I've got a few theories on it, and I'm going to share them with you. And the reason I've done quite a lot of research on this one, watched a lot of videos, read some stuff, and I read this brilliant quote that sort of sums up what I want to say, but it'll give you an intro to it. So the quote said, most people die at 21, but don't get buried till they're 75 or 85. And it blew my mind, that quote. And I'm not saying that everybody does that, and I'm not saying that everybody over the age of 21 isn't happy. But what I'm saying is that I think that as a society, as a nation, we accept that fine's enough. But deep down, it isn't. And I think a lot of marriages end because of this. I think a lot of people end up stuck in jobs that they hate because of this. And I think the old adage of, you've made your bed, lie in it, you know, why can't you just be happy, be grateful for what you've got, which is all true. But there's something that goes on inside a human that I think has this desire for more. And it can leave us, and the feeling that generates is stuck, unsettled, anxious, you know, just anxiety this contributes to that. Just not quite being able to put the finger on it. And so what they do is they start looking externally to change things. And then when they try and change them, they still get this feeling. And so this can happen in relationships, you know, there's this unsettled feeling, it must be the partner's fault. So everyone starts to blame each other. And then you leave the relationship, go into another relationship, and the same thing happens because you took you with you. So it's really, really common. And I think, it's rife, and I see it all the time. And every single person that I speak to and every single client that I coach, there's a theme that runs through it. And so it's something I'm really, really passionate about. So I want to just rewind a minute and I want to ask you a few questions. So I've got notes here because it's really important to me that I get this point across in the right order and give you some food for thought. So what did you want to be when you were younger? Not want to be because most of us didn't know, but what were you passionate about? Like, what excited you? What would you do just for fun? Was that music? Was it art? Were you really good at art, talented at art? Were you creative? Were you really scientific? What did you do when you were a child that lit you up? Because I genuinely believe that we are all born for a reason, in the sense that we are all given something that is meant to contribute to the world or to other people, to ourselves, and to make us happy, right? So we're born with innate talents or interests because that's what makes us human. We're all different. We all like different things. Imagine if everybody lived their dream. Imagine if everybody was born and then they found their passion and then they got paid for it. Imagine what the world would be like if that was the truth. But that isn't the truth. Because what happens is that people get passionate about something and then slowly over time, that passion dies because of circumstance or conformity or you can't, there's no real money in it. There's too competitive, especially in the field of music. Like if you were musical at school and you were in a band or you sang, I mean, for me, you know, I was born thinking, and I grew up in a house, mum used to play music all the time. I sang. I knew every single bloody word to all the musicals when I was very young, like every word. And I genuinely believed that I was going to be on the West End. Like that's what I really wanted to do. And imagine what had happened if I hadn't have bottled it. And if I hadn't have let fear get in the way and what will people think get in the way. And, oh God, people like me from places where I'm from, this doesn't happen to people like them. Imagine if nobody had those fears come in or that social conditioning or that, you know, stuff that happened. And I'm not saying that's anyone else's fault. It's not. You know, you take responsibility for your own actions. But imagine what it would be like if the thing that you were passionate about when you were young and the thing that lit you up, you went on to do for a career. Now, some people do this. That's why we have famous people and singers and actors. And I'm just talking about that field because that's what's most relevant to me. But you might have been really good at science, but now you don't do anything to do with science. You know, you might have not felt confident enough to go to university, or you might have bottled your exams because you were anxious about it, so you didn't get the grades that you needed. So what I'm trying to say is that when we're kids, we've all got these passions that we have, And then somewhere along the line, they get lost. And I think it's because a lot of the time people just don't believe, and there's the magic word, people just don't believe in themselves enough, or don't believe that it's possible for them. They think it's possible for other people, but not for them, because of insert reasons, insert 100 excuses why it's not possible for them. So my dad said to me years, when I was younger, and it always stood out to me, He said, find something you love to do and get someone to pay you to do it. And, that's difficult when you're younger because you don't necessarily know what you want to do. I just knew I wanted to do something of some impact. I knew I wanted to do something that I would be proud of and that I could, I didn't know what that thing was. I used to think it was, and I went to college after school and I did drama and theatre and I was really, really good at it. And then I did that first year and passed with distinction. And then I went in to do my second year and I bottled it. I just thought, I'm not going to get a job. What if I'm shit? There's millions of people wanting jobs like this. Why am I going to get these jobs? And I switched to media, much to the dismay of my drama teacher. So that was all my internal shit. And all the, oh my God, like, what if I'm shit? All my insecurities, all the things that had led up to that made me make that decision. And, in an ideal world, we'd all just be fearless and believe in ourselves and go and live our dreams. But there are too many people not living as fully as they could be. And I'm talking about internally, not feeling as satisfied or as fulfilled as they could be just with a few changes to the way they think, the way they feel, and what they do in their lives now. So most people, so I keep saying most people because that's the general, who I'm talking about, not the people who have excelled, but I'm talking about the people who, and you might be one of them, who really had loads of passions when you were younger and who now you're all right, everything's fine, you've got a good husband or good wife and you've got kids and you've got a job that's okay and, financially you're okay and everything's okay. But there's something in you that just isn't really fulfilled. Like this word fulfillment is something that's sort of almost in like a bit of a luxury, and it's just like, well, no, it isn't. It's one of our basic needs. There's I've talked about this before, but Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's like a triangle, and at the bottom you've got food and shelter, water, whatever, the basic needs, and then up from that is emotional needs, and then up from that, right at the top of that peak, is growth. And so what happens is that when we feel, our body creates a feeling to motivate us to get the thing we need as a human being, right? So if you're thirsty, if you need water, you feel thirsty. If you need food, you feel hungry. If you feel like you need connection, because that's the next emotional level, connection, you feel lonely. But what's the feeling that creates the need for growth? It's feeling stuck. It's feeling it's feeling like you can't quite put your finger on it, but you're just not vibing, you're just not flowing. And that's because we all need to be growing and be fulfilled in some way. And I think that is the part of a lot of people's life, trying to make a triangle, that's a lot of people's life that just isn't being fulfilled enough. Okay. And then what happens is we get older and those passions die. We still remember them and we still think we're good at them and we still are interested in them. So for me, I'm absolutely obsessed with talent shows. Obsessed. Like, Britain's Got Talent, Voice, I'm obsessed with it because I love singing and I love to listen to singers, and I could quite happily sit and watch them all day. Like, I love them because it's something I'm really passionate about, but it's not something I do enough of. So I'm not exempt from this. It's something that I'm really, really aware of and something I'm prepared to do something about. So that's what we're sort of talking about. And then so people get to a certain point and then they get kids and then they get married and then they get the job. And then when you ask, what do you do for Pat? Oh, well, I'd love to do that, but. And I'd love to, but is the biggest growth killer and passion killer. And, it's just because we can all say that, oh, I'd love to, but that word is just insert excuse, insert excuse, insert excuse. And some of those excuses may feel valid. But if you're important, you know, if it's important for you to grow or to feel fulfilled, then you'll do something about it. But the point is that people don't, I don't think enough people understand how much a human being needs that feeling. Because you know when you've learned something new, you know when you've done something new and you've achieved it, how good that feels. Like you can do that every single day. You can involve yourself in something or read something or learn something or do something that gives you that feeling of fulfillment every day. And then you're happier. I think, and this is only my opinion, you might think I'm talking shit, and that's fine. But I really believe in it. And I think that, and the reason I believe in it is because I'm really into personal growth, obviously. I now do it for a living because I found something I'm super passionate about, and I found a way to get paid for it. And I've never stopped trying to do that. So, and the one good thing about that is that I have followed a path of trying something, it feeling good, and then it not feeling good anymore, and then moving on to something else, and that's good. But I've been lucky enough to be able to do that. Well, I've worked hard at it. But what I'm talking about is the people that they get the job, and then they get the responsibilities, which we've all got, and then they just don't see a way out, and they don't try, and then they just settle, and then they're just like, well, this is it. This is it. And I want to sort of get through to people that it's not it. It doesn't have to be it. And we don't have to just settle for fine and I'm okay. And yeah, it's okay and it's all right, pays the bills. And what I'm trying to say is that this isn't about changing your entire life. It's not walking into your boss tomorrow and going, right, I quit because I'm going to go and chase my dreams. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is generating that feeling of growth and fulfillment in your life somewhere. So it means that you're happier doing what you're doing. You don't have to change everything to be happier. You just have to find a way that satisfies that thing that's missing. And that thing that's missing sometimes, in my experience and with everybody I've worked with, is growth, is feeling that they're moving forward, that they're progressing in some way. Okay, so one of the other things that the title of this live was why it's okay for enough not to be enough. Because one of the things that I noticed about my journey so far is that when I did want more, and whether that be more stuff, it's actually less about that now, just wanted more because I knew it was possible. But the fears that came up for me for that was I shouldn't want more because it's greedy. And that's in, you know, relation to stuffs and, you know, I shouldn't want more because it's greedy. I should just be happy. Should. And people think it's wrong. I have this thing that it's wrong to ask for more because we go, oh, you know, I'm so lucky. I've got a house and a husband and great kids and my health. And yes, you are very lucky if you've got all those things, especially your health. But that doesn't mean it's not okay to go, do you know what? There's stuff out there that I'd like to experience. There's choice out there that I'd like to have. There's nothing wrong with wanting more. And there's this taboo and this sort of like, oh, well, she's just really materialistic. You hear people say, she's really materialistic. I'm not saying people say that about me. You might do, I don't know. I don't care. But so what? Like, why is that a bad thing? Because, and one thing that I have worked a lot on, and it's another live for another time, but is when it comes to financial, wanting more financial wealth, the money mindset stuff comes in and it's a killer. And so just as a side note to this live, I want you to ask yourself, when you heard the word money, what are the words you associate to it? Because it's very difficult to grow asking for a pay rise, asking for a promotion, going for that job that's more money because you want to add more choice and abundance to your life if you've got a negative association to money. If you've got a really shit money story running, and that's that, you know, money is the root of all evil. You were brought up in a household that I want doesn't get. Money doesn't grow on trees. You know, this scarcity around it. And so wanting more generally, wanting to be happier, people get this, well, I shouldn't really, because I should be happy with what I've got because I've got this, and this. And you know that I'm all about gratitude, right? I'm all about being grateful for what you have. And that is such an important thing. But being grateful for what you can still be grateful for what you have and still want to expand. And that's the word I prefer, is to expand and become more. Because in my eyes, the more you become, the more you have to offer other people. Like that's how I feel about that. Okay, so I want to talk about belief, because a lot of the time and this is, I think, the main reason why people don't go and look for more fulfillment or look for something that brings them joy, is because of a belief in themselves that isn't there. A belief that it's possible for them, or that they could do that, or all the fears come in, like batter us down. So like, for instance, for an example, if you liked dancing when you were younger, like I did, do you still dance? Probably the answer to that question is no. I know I have a few friends that still dance, but do you still dance? No. If I was to say to you, right, there's a class tomorrow night, and you know, why don't you go? Like, sign up for it, start dancing. Oh yeah, I'd love to, but and that's bullshit, because it's just a cover for fear. Because I'm frightened of looking stupid, I'm frightened of not being able to do it, I'm frightened that it'll mean, you know, and then none of this stuff is conscious usually. It's just, if this fear kicks in and it's a feeling we don't like, so we make an excuse to cover it up. But what if that was the one thing that was going to bring some joy back into your life? Imagine if you just had that one activity that was just for you, that it was your time to just completely be yourself and to revel in something that you really liked, and it made you feel more joy. Therefore, you were better when you got home, you were a better wife, husband, better father or mother, better friend, because you've got this thing that's just yours and that brings you joy. So what I'm talking about is adding things into your life that actually you wish you don't understand why you gave it up. And now you don't really know how to get back into it, because, well, you've never really thought about it because you didn't think it was important. And then we start thinking about self-care, because then that means you're not putting yourself first, and you're not saying to yourself that you're important enough for something, to do something just for you that's going to add joy to your life. Do you see what I mean? So all the things that I talk about are all linked to this one thing. And belief is the one most powerful thing that makes stuff happen. And I've got a little intriguing little graph to show you, which I learned. I'll tell you when. But first I want to talk to you about belief, and how a mental belief in something changes your actions and helps you actually achieve, like, doing something that's going to bring you more joy. So you Roger Bannister, right? Yeah, 4-minute mile. So until 1958, no one had run a 4-minute mile. And Roger Bannister obviously did it. Now, why did he do it? He did it because, and he physically he wasn't doing it, but he mentally did the race. So he would run it in his head, and there are so many studies about how powerful this is. He ran it in his head. The year that he did it, within 2 months of him doing it, another 37 people did it. Why? Because they'd seen that it was possible. So what I want to say to you is like, what's possible for you? What's the one thing that you want to do that you don't think is possible at the moment? How would it change your behavior around it, or your thought process, or how you felt about it, if you knew that it was possible? So Roger Bannister runs a 4-minute mile. Suddenly it's possible in everybody else's consciousness. And then within 2 months, 37 people have done it. So what is it about what you could do that could change your belief and actually spur you on to action? So I'm going to show you this. The one thing I will say is that when you decide that you're going to desire some more, like some more life, some more experience, some more joy, some more love, money, whatever it is you want, you better be prepared to do the inner work in order to give you the courage to get it. Because one thing I experienced is when I decided that I wanted more experience, choice, life, and that I was going to do what I needed to do to get it, but love what I was doing to get it, then there's this no man's land of feeling. So you get into this desire state where you want more, but then all the fear kicks in, and you procrastinate and you make excuses and you don't do it. And that is where your personal development comes in, because you need to be prepared to do the work, to work on yourself and your limitations in order to give you the courage and the balls to actually go for it and do it. And that's something that's taken me a long time. And so, but when you break through that, it's liberating, because it's growth, do you know what I mean? And it feels good, and you feel more energized and charged and excited about what you're doing. You're, oh my God, I smashed it. Like, this used to scare the shit out of me and now it doesn't. And suddenly you're in this amazing place where you just feel great. So now I learned this. I'm going to show you this. Oh, I love it on a live. It's the right way. So I actually learned this from Tony Robbins, not personally, obviously, but I think it's brilliant. Those of you that tune in every week know that I am half and half, the spiritual side as well as the practical stuff, you know, on the ground stuff that you can do every day to make your life, loves, relationships, business better. And for me, this is the perfect marrying of the two. So this is like the holy grail of belief, right? So I'm going to talk you through it. So I'm just, give me a second. Oh, hi Kay. Hi Hells. Hi Mel. Lucia, Claire. I guess you accept the level you're at some point and stop pushing for more. Exactly. It's that acceptance of, hey Sarah, sorry late, don't worry about it, babes. Or they get destroyed because we allow actions of others to undermine us. Exactly. Like, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's not that there's this, sorry, I wasn't replying to your comments before. Hey Bridget, I'm not, they don't come up. It's like, we're born passions, dreams, excitement, belief in ourselves, and then as we get older, it just gets knocked out of us. And that's the same for everybody. It was the same for me. It's the same for everybody. But as grown adults, we have to get to the point where we're like, I was going to really swear then, like, sod this. I don't have to put up with this anymore. I don't have to settle for this, because I'm an adult and I get to make my own choices, right? And I get to choose how I live and how I feel and how I think. That's my choice. And it's having that awareness to go, actually, this is shit. Like, this is better. I can have better. I can have more. We live in a society where, and in a time where there is more opportunity than ever before. You can earn a second income doing a million things. Something you're passionate about. You can find something you're passionate about and you can find a way to get paid for it. Simple as that. What are you waiting for? Like, what is this? There's this concept that, well, okay, it's like, okay, that's it. I've got a job, married, got kids. That's it. I'll just keep doing this. And that's it. And if that's enough for you, then that's great. But if it's not enough for you, that's great, because you can do something about it. It's your choice. You're an adult. Choose something different. Choose to go, right, actually, I'm going to add a bit of spice to this life thing. I'm going to start doing some more stuff that makes me happy. Now, I'm happy, very, very lucky that I absolutely am madly passionate about what I do for a living. So I'm like this every day. But yeah, I'm going to get on my soapbox. Just stupidly spent 18 years helping to fulfill my partner's dreams instead of my own, but thought that was okay. And it was okay. Hey, Michelle. It was okay for a while, but it's not anymore. And the thing is, we do, align ourselves with a partner. And if you are, it is the right thing to support their dreams, because that's the right thing to do. I'm not saying it's wrong. But what I'm saying is that if you're feeling in a certain way that doesn't feel happy or settled or fulfilled, then it's your responsibility to do something about it. And you can do something about it. And it's actually quite easy. But it's having that awareness in the first place, yeah? So it's that internal locus. Absolutely. Hey, Helen. Hi, Dan. Well, I'm just going to go through this little, not miss anybody off. Hi, Kay. Hillary. Right, okay, so I'm going to explain this to you. This is so good. Okay. So, here you are, potential. So how much potential does a human being have? Shitloads, right? And let's say that you've got something you want to do, to achieve, and you think you've got a bit of potential. and that there's some potential in this idea that you've got. And so you'll go, okay, there's a bit of potential in this. I'll put a little bit of action in because it needs some action in order to create something, to make something happen. And you put a little bit of action in, which gets you a little bit of results, which then results in your belief going, yeah, I got exactly out of it what I thought I would. Okay? That's a sort of settled nature. Let's say somebody with massive potential who believes in their potential or believes in the potential of the idea that they've got or the business idea or whatever. And so they put in a massive amount of action because they are certain that they can't fail. Success is inevitable, right? So they put shitloads of action in, which leads to shitloads of results, like powerful, life-changing, amazing results. So then what happens? Their belief soars. Yeah, knew I was the bollocks, knew this was the best idea ever. And then their potential raises. And this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Let me go jump to the other end of the scale. Somebody's got no potential, no belief in their potential. And they're looking at this thing and going, don't believe in myself, I'm not going to do that. I won't be any good at it. People will think I'm shit. People will laugh at me. So they don't take any action. Therefore, they don't get any result. And therefore, they've compounded their belief that they're shit. And this very diagram, this very simple thing, is why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because it is a self-fulfilling prophecy either way. So how do you get certainty about something? So let's say that you're trying to achieve a goal, and I'm talking to the people now who have got something that they want to achieve, okay? So how do you create certainty? And this has been life-changing for me, because what I am trying to do takes a massive amount of, the fear that's come up has been ridiculous, sometimes debilitating. Because when you're putting something, you're creating something that you believe is going to help other people and you know is going to help other people, but oh my God, there's so much fear involved. And it takes a while of adjusting, right? But the minute I became certain about it, the minute I knew that if I put the work in, I believe in it, that it will work and that it will change people's lives, that my action level went through the roof. Because when you are certain about something, yeah? So how do we get into that place of certainty when maybe we don't believe in ourselves enough, or maybe we don't believe in what we're doing? Is that we basically get the results in our head first. So the way that your brain works, you've heard me talk about this before, one of the main way your brain works, it responds to the pictures in your head and the words that you say. That's why you have to be so careful with your words, careful how you speak, careful what you think about. Because if you're constantly focused on why it won't work, how shit you are, what 1,000,000,001 things could go wrong, what do you think that does to your action? Of course you're not going to do anything. So being consciously aware of what you're thinking is massive. But I'm talking about visualization. So this is where those two worlds marry perfectly for me, because when people talk about manifesting, your brain will get for you what you see. And so if you want to get a more rigid belief in your uncertainty about what it is you're trying to achieve, you have to be able to see it in your head. You have to have a moment or just a scene or a picture that is, and maybe that's you're looking for a partner. Maybe that's you married and in a house with white picket fence, whatever. Maybe that's a dream job. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe it's a business idea. How will it feel when you're in it? And if you spend every single day just 10 minutes, you can do it in the morning, you can do it whenever you like, imagining that thing happening. What will you see? What will you hear? What will you feel when that thing's happening? What do you think that does to your belief that it's possible? It rises it up, yeah? Rises it, raises it, raises it. So then suddenly it's certain. It's a done deal, because you can see it and you can feel how it feels. So you get the results in your head first, create certainty, improves your action. So what that does is that takes the spiritual visualization, law of attraction side of it, and it brings it down to earth from the universe and actually creates real life results. Because the more certain you are, the more action you'll take, the more results you get, and the more belief you've got in yourself. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it just keeps going round. And everybody that I know who's in my industry or who's successful, they'll say every level brings a new devil. And so it's like as you go through this cycle, you're expanding consistently your belief in what's possible for you. You're expanding your experiences, your relationships, everything, just going around this circle. But and I know which way I want to go. I want to be going that way, where I believe more in my potential, therefore I take more inspired action, and that action services the world. Because if you were born with a gift and you don't share it, everyone loses out. How many people die with there's, oh God, it's a Wayne Dyer thing, don't die with your music still in you. So if you used to play the guitar and you used to have a wicked band at school, pick up the guitar again, go and join a band or go and do something that's going to light you up. Like, don't die with your music still in you. And it takes courage and guts to go for something. And I'm not talking about quitting your job or leaving your husband or doing anything like that. What I'm talking about is just finding something that reconnects you to your joy. Because once you're in that state of feeling fulfilled and happy and doing something that's just for you, just for you, then everything else feels better. So I don't want you to think that I'm saying, if you've settled, you should change your life completely. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that find something, be bothered, care enough about yourself to think, right, what is going to bring me some joy back? What is going to make me, and that might just be reading a book. Do a course. You can do a course for bloody everything online now. What are you interested in? Have you got something through work that you found really interesting? Could you do some study outside of work? And you can do it. If you want it badly enough, you'll do it. You'll find the time, because I can hear I haven't got time to do that. Yes, you have. And it's important because you're important. Okay? Such a good subject. Sorry, I'm just missing. Hi, Ruth. Hi, Helen. Got a new comment, but I can't see it. So I think, hang on a minute. Yeah, I've done. So I hope you found that useful, and I hope that's inspired you to have a look around in your life and go, right, what could I do that's going to bring me a little bit more fulfillment? What is going to make me feel like I'm growing? Because you're either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. I love that saying. It's a massive subject. I could literally talk for another hour on it, but I won't, because I've been going for 37 minutes, which is longer than I normally do. But it's okay. It's okay to want more. It's a good thing. That's what we're made to do. We are human beings. And just to end on this note, right? There is not a thing that is around you, this laptop, my phone, this light thing, nothing that's around you would have existed if somebody hadn't dreamt it, had a passion for it, and found a way to get paid for it. Every single thing that's surrounding you now, to the chair you're sat in, somebody had a dream to create it, and they had the courage to go and do it. So what is it that you get to contribute to the world? Because imagine if we all did it. Or imagine if we just did something towards it to contribute to the conversation. You don't have to be, I put this post on my Instagram the other day, you don't have to be a bloody guru at it. You don't have to be the best. You just have to contribute to the conversation. And if everybody just did something that contributed to the conversation, the thing that they're interested in, imagine how richer that subject, that job, that theme, that career path, that music, that anything would be if more people were contributing to it. So, go out, find something that inspires you and do it. And I'd love to hear, any stories of people taking up stuff that, they used to do and finding, it might be bloody knitting. I don't care what it is. Just find something that brings you joy and brings you fulfillment. And I promise you'll feel better. Thank you for all your lovely comments. You're awesome. Hi, Anne. I'm late, but I'm going to watch the whole video after. Oh, thanks, Ruth. Love you. That's it. I'm done. I'll let you go, because I wonder how the girls are getting on at football. So far, they're winning, which is awesome. Go girls. All right, then. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.